This is Hauser & Hauser Farms. We've been here since the late 60s. We farm about 600 acres in the Verde Valley. The sweet corn's right behind me. Just planted it yesterday. That's what we're most famous for, I guess you could say.
You could definitely say that. Every summer, the Hauser's sweet corn attracts aficionados from all over Arizona and other states. That brings more tourism dollars into the Verde Valley.
It's a great area for corn. It's a good climate. We got good water supply from the river. The Verde River is important because we don't have any other water supply. We're very into keeping the river flowing and doing things that we can control to help as much as possible, but still get the water that we need to make a living and sustain crops.
Agriculture is significant to Arizona, both as a local food source and as a major economic contributor. It also carries a sizable water footprint. About 70% of all water used in the state goes to farms. That means improvements on efficiency out here can translate into big water savings.
The things we're doing here are about how do we become efficient users of the water so that we're maximizing the economic returns while we're maximizing the use of the water that we do have. The first step in managing water is making sure you're taking it from the river and delivering it to the farm as efficiently as possible. When we're using it more efficiently in the ditch or on the farm, we can leave it in the river for the benefit of fish and wildlife. In the past, water was just taken from the river and conveyed down the ditch. What wasn't used in the ditch by the users was just pushed out the other end. And so that took a lot of excess water out of the river because that conveyance system wasn't efficiently operating.
So the Nature Conservancy brought new technology to the Verde. They installed an automated head gate at the top of the 8-mile-long ditch that draws irrigation water from the river. The gate can be controlled remotely by a cell phone, which saves users time and keeps more water in the Verde.
And I think the farmers who are here in the valley are doing everything they can to make sure that their farming operations are sustainable into the future and as efficient as possible while still preserving the river.
Water's a resource. It's very important to us and we treat it as such. Right now we're all flood irrigation. We're as efficient as we possibly can be with flood irrigation. There are other methods that are, a lot more efficient. So we're looking into doing drip irrigation.
The Nature Conservancy is helping the Hausers explore which drip irrigation system will work best on a 6.5-acre test plot. Both sides want to know it will work practically, and not just on paper, before they spend the money to implement it on a large scale.
Some of those little lessons from a conservation side where we think putting the system in is going to be great and that will solve the problem, but the reality is we have to put in systems that work for farmers or farmers don't keep them in very long and our investment is lost.
We like the idea of, sustainable agriculture. We're a willing partner in doing that. We would like to see more water in the river and, as long as we're getting, to meet our needs, to grow a crop and make a living, we're happy.
Building partnerships between the various groups that have water interests is a critical part of what the Nature Conservancy does. It's not always easy, since water affects so many people's lives and livelihoods.
And so it becomes kind of an emotional decision-making process, and we try to make sure that we're looking at how do we make agriculture fit with conservation, because really we're not interested in excluding one or the other. We really want this system to work collectively. When we sit down and we talk, we solve problems. If you don't sit down and you don't talk, you don't solve problems. One side picks a solution and that may or may not work for the other side. Agriculture and conservation need to be at that table, and so do municipalities and communities.
The Verde Valley was originally settled as an agricultural community to provide food for soldiers and miners. Over a century later, farmers still have deep roots here, which is important to maintain.
Protecting ag isn't just something that the Nature Conservancy wants to do, it's something the community of Camp Verde is interested in. So it's critical that we work with the farmers and we solve their problems at the same time we're trying to put water in the river. So it's not just the Nature Conservancy's idea, this is really a community solution.
There's a lot of people who live here who care about the river, who care about the farms, who don't want to see them developed into housing development. We've lost 2 farms in this valley to development, one of which was bought by developers. They subdivided everything and then they went broke. So there's no houses on it or any, just the streets and the lots and no houses. It's just sitting there. So it's kind of a gut punch when you have to drive by that every day. It's a great area, and it's small. It's not grown up like Phoenix is. We're still nice and small and rural, so that's the way we prefer it. I love it here. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to stay here forever, and hopefully my kids do too, and keep it going.